welcome to Rumbi Uncensored. Good evening and welcome to our late night show. Super exciting, and I just want to say to everyone, if it's your first time, I'm asking you to subscribe to the channel. But if you're my regulars, thank you so much for sticking around. Really, I'm super excited. It's good to see everyone. Good to see you. Thank you guys for coming around. Let's just talk. You know, I'm fascinated because when it comes to the issue of SADC, a lot has been happening during the day, and I thought, okay, it's fine for us to have a chat. And I also want to hear your opinions. Some people are saying, hey, we are really sick and tired. Some are saying, we don't know, but we are desperate for divine intervention. Shout out to everybody and good to see you. All right, if you are my regulars, please don't forget to just make sure you comment. And for the new ones, subscribe, hit the notification button, so every time I'm on, you'll be with me here. Shout out to everybody. It's good to see you. All right, so I just want to rush quickly and check what's going on Twitter. Can I tell you, Twitter is on fire. But let's have a look and see what people are saying. What are the trends going? Shout out to everybody. Good to see you. James, good to see you. Can I tell you, even if you're late, just know that I love you, because sometimes it's not easy to speak at the same time. Just keep up in greeting everyone. So I want you to know that you're special, and I appreciate you so much. Really, I do. I don't take you for granted at all. All right, let's go. Can I tell you, this is quite interesting. Zimbabweans, again, we are trending. What's up? What have we done again, Zimbabweans? Like, what have we done, these blessed people? We are such a blessed people. You know, and they keep telling us, what did we do? Yo, Tete say. Tete say name wangu. Okay, so we all know Father Zimbabwe, right? This is Cooksman. I'm going to just shout out and read this tweet quickly here. He said, this is my message to all young people of Zimbabwe. We might come from different tribes, but we are one people. Whether you're Ndebele, Karanga, Shankani, Tonga, Venda, we are all Zimbabweans. Let's not allow tribalism to divide us. Our fathers allowed ZANU-PF and Robert Mugabe to divide our nation with their divisive politics. In 1980s, ZANU-PF used the tribal card to manipulate elections. Otherwise, Robert Mugabe wouldn't have won. They knew that the Shona population was larger, and they started campaigning using tribalism. If you're asking your grandparents, they will tell you that Joshua Nkabuko Nyongolo was beloved by many across the nation because he was not power-hungry. He was a peace-loving, God-fearing nationalist man. May his soul rest in eternal peace. ZANU-PF divide us, and it's our duty as young people to unite again and build a powerful, beautiful nation. Amanda, by the way, I'm going to remind you that there's going to be a protest. Definitely people are on their way to hand over their petition to Ramaphosa, the Union building that is in Pretoria. So I'll remind you, don't forget. So if you're in South Africa, please play your part. You can fly from Durban, Cape Town, Port Elizabeth, all over the space, so that we can be in one place and let our voices be amplified, because it's time for us to speak. Shout out to you, Chatufa TV. Can I tell you guys, please go in there, subscribe to the channel. It's such an incredible channel. You don't want to know, it's super incredible. Chatufa, please do the right thing and subscribe to the channel. All right, so here we are, moving right along. I tell you, today is a special day because we are focusing on SADC. We all know that SADC is ready to sit so they can be able to discuss the Zimbabwean Shema election, which happened just a month, 2 months ago, if I'm not mistaken. They are ready to sit down. And point number one, I just want you to know that they cannot just sit down for the sake of. Some people are saying, oh my God, we know it's SADC, we know SADC. Nothing's going to come out. I don't think so. Masaba Asiana, of course, Asiana. Asiana, for real. Okay, so you know what I'm going to do quickly? I want you guys to take a listen to Ramaphosa. So Ramaphosa had a meeting. Remember when they were in Europe? He had an interview with a journalist there, and he was asking a very important question regarding the Zimbabwean situation. And I want you to listen to what Ramaphosa had to say regarding that. It is really paramount that you guys get to hear him speaking, because that will set a precedence of our conversation tonight. Let's talk. I want us to have a conversation. It's very important. Speak to me, and thank you so much. I can see people are busy commenting. It means a lot. Let's have a conversation. Zimbabwe is our land, But before we move forward, let's take a listen to what Ramaphosa had to say.
Lifting of sanctions in Cuba, which is not.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's stay a little bit longer on the African continent. Of course, you mentioned, as South Africa does every year in a General Assembly speech, for the lifting of sanctions in Cuba, which is not in Africa, to be clear, but also in Zimbabwe. I'll tell you what the US President wrote to Congress when they renewed the sanctions regime earlier this year. President Mnangagwa has not made necessary political and economic reforms that would warrant terminating the existing targeted sanctions program, citing continued repression and intimidation of citizens, absence of reforms on rule of law, democratic governance, and protection of human rights. They're also pointing to the SADC Observer Missions report that pointed to issues of credibility and process in terms of the election. Yet you, Mr. President, were at the inauguration, you congratulated President Mnangagwa. How do you thread that needle given what SADC has said and what the United States is saying?
Well, let's get it right. What was said by a representative of the Observer Mission is still got to be discussed in SADC, because it's not a final report. And if one looks at that report, it actually says there were challenges with regard to a number of things that have to do with elections. And many countries around the world have such challenges. The United States is a prime example.
I'd like to stop it right there. You are being asked a question about the SADC report, and even the journalist is like, huh? And all you can start with is to say it happens all over the world, that there's always disputes as far as elections are concerned. This is Ramaphosa speaking, because we are having this conversation for a reason. Why is it Ramaphosa think that it is right for him to always siding with ZANU-PF? But let's take a listen.
With regard to the last election, so there are challenges, and they have said in the report, as I read it, that certain things need to be improved. They have not declared the election as invalid, unfree, and unfair. They have highlighted certain challenges.
Problems with transparency, independence, fairness, and credibility of all stages of the electoral process. That's what the report says.
Well, indeed, and those are challenges that need to be addressed. What was
challenges that would be unacceptable in the South African context?
So,
right.
Where there's a lack of transparency, they need to come up with the details. And I would say, yes, let the details be put forward so that we can deal with them. So we are waiting to receive that report at the SADC level so that we can deal with it. Because if anything, it was an interim report. So once the report is put to the SADC body, we will then debate it, and we will also hear representations from Zimbabwe, as well as from the Observer Mission as well.
Let's stay a little bit longer.
I'm just flabbergasted with the fact that he mentioned that he said, they will say these were issues, but they did not say the elections were not free and fair. This is Ramaphosa speaking. Who did not know, like on the day of elections, people were speaking, these elections are nothing but a sham. Everyone knew it was in black and white. As a matter of fact, there were representatives from South Africa who were part and parcel of the Troika, because they had to pull a person from every country that represents itself in SADC. So how on earth will Ramaphosa says that, no, they did not say that the elections wasn't free and fair. They just say things were not okay. We're still waiting for a report. Maybe he was talking diplomatically. I guess maybe he was caught off guard, because I don't think he was expecting that question to be asked by the journalist. But people are saying South Africa has such a vital role as far as these elections are concerned. And so we need to go through some of the things that happened literally today. People are discussing, and they're saying, we don't know if Ramaphosa were really going to say much. So Hopo want to say earlier today, I warned my fellow Zimbabwean compatriots not to expect anything regarding the August 23rd shambolic elections from the SADC summit, which is taking place on Wednesday. I argued that South Africa defended the shambolic election and still does, and that nothing happens in SADC without South Africa's agreement. For those who thought I was raining their parade, find your answer below. So now he was referring to the interview that we just listened to right now. I just want to hear from you guys. What do you think about the response of Ramaphosa? But for me, I think before I even talk about Ramaphosa, or if I speak of SADC, I really want to speak about us Zimbabweans. The question we need to ask each other every day, are we ready for a better Zimbabwe? Are we ready to live a life that we deserve? Because it's one thing for people to believe in us, it's another thing when we believe in ourselves. Because if you are saying you want a better Zimbabwe, but every time there are people who wake up trying to be of assistance, or people who may want to speak on our behalf, we bash them again. For me, I feel like as much as we want assistance, we are even more toxic than the assistance that we require. Because we cannot keep on speaking negative. If we truly want a better Zimbabwe, our minds have to change. Our minds have to change. We have to start believing, that we deserve a better life. Every country where people stand up for what they believe in, they firstly have to know that they are worthy. What is our value? Because you can't expect other people to feel how you feel. I can never in a million years, as much as I can feel the pain in Zimbabwe, that Ramaphosa would feel the same. Because while I'm busy, hungry, Ramaphosa is having the executive meal. The dude is choosing, has got chefs all over the place. He's staying in the most beautiful home. He has children that have gone, everything is firing for him. And I expect him to feel the way I'm feeling. It doesn't work like that. We as Zimbabweans, we need to start working on our minds. Because sometimes I feel like we want change, but we don't want change. We want a better life, but we don't want a better life. What do we really want? We have to remain resolute. If we truly want a better Zimbabwe, it starts by the change of our minds. Our minds are powerful. They are powerful. Once we made up our mind, everything else will align. Because the energies we give out will determine the outcome that we get back. If we keep on speaking like the way Hopo Shimono speaks, I'm afraid, and I'm afraid we are not serious yet. And sometimes I feel like Hopo speaks from a point of privilege. I have so much respect for him as a journalist, but every time he speaks about Zimbabwe, 1 minute he say one change, 1 minute he say it's not possible, it's not possible. But how on earth do you think that things will align? I'm a firm believer that I need to believe in myself. I have to know that I'm worthy of a better life. Then I take steps to move forward. If we can do this in our day-to-day lives, what stops us to hold hands and say, let's do what's right for us as a country? I'm a firm believer that Zimbabwe can turn, and I still believe in SADC. If they knew that there was nothing to talk about, why would they sit? Don't forget, we have Hichilema here. And for those that, that actually listen to my video that I dropped during the day regarding the SADC, I'm going to let you guys take a listen to what Dr. Mumba said. Very powerful immediately after the elections of Libya. Because I think we've been in this situation long enough to a point where we accept the abnormal. And it can't carry on like that. I'm a firm believer that no one should believe in a change than us. No one should. Every Zimbabwean should say, hey, we know our worth and we want to have a better Zimbabwe. And then stars will align. I really want you guys to take a listen to this segment that was spoken by Dr. Mumba. I feel like Dr. Mumba believes in change more than most of our people do. Is it education that messes us around? I don't understand. Because if that's what education does, I don't want it. I don't want education that makes me a stupid. I want to live a life that I deserve by standing for what I believe in any minute, any day, any time. I want you to take a listen to what Dr. Mumba said immediately after elections in Libya. Very, very important.
Their capital to develop their nation and to unite this great nation and be an example in West Africa as a nation that believes in democracy. Let me make something extremely clear. The moment the African people start to lose confidence in electoral processes, that is when you start to see the rise in military coups, which we don't want on this continent. It is therefore critical that leaders across this continent take democratic elections as a major issue. They must make sure that the elections are free and fair, because that confidence that comes from that free and fair election gives credibility to that leadership that takes over. And in the absence of that credibility, you open other avenues of trying to form governments using illegitimate means. So this call is a knock on all of Africa, not just West Africa, all of Africa, to ensure that electoral processes are free, fair, and credible. We have no option but to make elections become free, fair, and credible on the African continent.
I love that. We have no option. We have no option except to make elections free, fair, and credible in the African continent. Did you hear that? We have no option except to make elections free, fair, and credible. There is no any other option. He is resolute. And here we are, we're saying, no, SADC is not going to do anything. This is 2023. It's not the same SADC that you knew. People change. Circumstances change. People grow. Influence change. Forget about that. Even God changes. He changes situations. We have to be positive. If we want our situation to change, we must start by believing that we're worthy of a better Zimbabwe. So I completely disagree with Hope watching on. I completely disagree. I think as Zimbabweans, we deserve a better country. We cannot expect someone to feel it for us. We should stand and rise up and say we know who we are, we know what we deserve, and we will stand by our words. With all God, all things are possible. And I've always been telling you that if we keep on being negative, nothing will work. So NewsHawks dropped this article today because some people are saying, oh my God, where did I get that? I'm just kind of lying. I don't, listen, I don't just come here and be talking things of lying. There's no need for me to do so. As a matter of fact, I'm not desperate for content. Not people that create stuff that never happen. I'm not that kind of person. I'm not desperate. You know, I'm a firm believer in looking at truth as it is. So NewsHawks dropped the bomb, and they said the Southern African Development SADC, who hold an extraordinary summit of heads of state and government on Zimbabwe on Wednesday under the auspices of its current chairperson, Angolan President João Lourenço, the NewsHawks can exclusively reveal, as recently disclosed by his publication, which is a detailed brief on what has been happening of the issue behind the scenes. The special meeting follows intense regional consultation in the aftermath of Zimbabwe's disputed elections held on 23rd, 24th of August, which have left the country region and international community more polarized and deeply divided amid deepening economic deterioration. So I love where they said, after intense, get this, the special meeting follows intense regional consultations in the aftermath. Get this very right. The special meeting follows intense, if I understand English correctly, it means they had to consult or confirm that each and every representative that attended the observer's mission on the 23rd and 24th in Zimbabwe confirms that the report, which is the SADC report, the preliminary report or the final report was correct. I think preliminary prior to the final report was correct. They also did their investigations and found out that most of the things that were happening were correct. Now, this is what's fascinating today because I was sitting in my house and I'm laughing. I don't know if you guys saw something that was circulating today where Wente posted that the government have approved that people can march. I don't know if it's correct. You can't trust social media. That people can march, they can march against the actions of Israel against the Palestinians. If that is true, and the question that I was having is, why is it every time we want to protest against any ill in the country, we always face resistance? Why? But now we are talking about Palestinians and Israelites, and now the march, if it's correct, has been approved. I said allegedly because I don't trust. I have to make sure my stories are right. By confirming, I didn't talk to Wendy, but I wish I could have spoken to him prior. If that is true, then that says quite a number of things. And I think for those that think the elections may not be free and fair, you'll be surprised with what was going to happen, because if Dr. Mumba is confirming that we cannot allow in Africa here, we cannot allow sham elections because we know the consequences of that. Then here we are now, and I'm saying that is actually a very, very good, evident standpoint to say if they can approve us marching against the mess or against the brutality that's going down in Palestine, but they still refuse us to march against the EU's economic, social, and political in our country, red flag. How hypocritical people can be, red flag. And there's also a number of things that are going down right now as we speak. You've seen people writing, can we march? And they decline them. You also know that in South Africa, people are going to hand over a petition or a letter to Ramaphosa at the Union Building tomorrow. All these activities are just showing you the direction of where we're going. We may be shocked for those that are saying SADC is not going to do anything. I saw some people said, oh, it's a lie. No, a lot has been happening in the background, y'all. And we also have this Mr. Songezo that is just much removed from here. And I've been sitting and I'm like, no, man. Guys, honestly, why now? Why now? Some people are saying that is what Washington said. No, Songezo is working by well-known people in the leadership of Citizen Coalition for Change. People are alleging that he may be working with Washington Movement Tendebit. I said people are alleging. But Tendebit, you heard him criticizing the issue of recalling members of parliament when he was attending the all-around CEO summit or meeting in Victoria Falls. Washington Movement was an attorney for the 12 MPs. He fought for them to be reinstated, remember, when they were, disqualified. Now, I'm in the midst of all this confusion. I'm trying to think and understand what the hell is going on in this country. You don't know if we are going or we are coming back. For me, I'm like, whatever is going on, good and bad, will work for the good. For those who sacrifice their lives, their funds, to make sure that we were heading on having a better Zimbabwe. But again, we face resistance from the regime. Then they also say details on the upcoming SADC extraordinary meeting on Zimbabwe are contained in the documents exclusively obtained by the NewsHawks from Zimbabwe's Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Trade. Quote unquote. Now, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade apparently avowed the information to the NewsHawks before they wrote the article. Now, how on earth will someone say that people are lying? The Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade disclosed the information from SADC. Did you and me knew that that information was in Zimbabwe? Now it can show you why there's all this nonsense that we are facing now of Songezo drama and how much the regime is so quick to approve. It's Mdenda already assigned. It's already Mr. Mnangagwa, the president, is already declared the day for by-election. You're sitting there like, whoa. What's up with the rush? Why the rush? So all along, they knew that SADC was very much unpleased by this election. The regime knew. It now makes sense why the Songezo drama. So a letter written on the 19th of October 2023 by the SADC Troika organ on politics, defense and security, Cooperation Director, Profession Kula Ishmael Seletsane, to the regional board's national contact persons in the Zimbabwe and Zambia's foreign affairs ministries, Pearson Chigiji and Isabelle Lember, respectively, says the special meeting will be held virtually on the 25th of October from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. So it's going to happen, I think 25th is, okay, today's Monday, right? Tuesday, on Wednesday, actually Wednesday. SADC is headquartered in Gaborone, Botswana, capital. Angola is the current chair. Jelegi is also acting chief director of multilateral affairs in the Zimbabwe's Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, while Lemba is permanent secretary in the Foreign Affairs in Zambia. Reference is made to the above subject matter, extraordinary summit, quote unquote. I wish to humbly notify that following consultation with H.E. João Manuel Congoves Lourenço, President of the Republic of Angola and the chairperson of SADC, a virtual extraordinary summit of the SADC heads of state and government has been scheduled to take place on the 25th of October 2023 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. hours, Botswana time. Seletsani writes in his letter, whose reference is a notification of an extraordinary summit of SADC heads of state and government to be held virtually on the 25th of October 2023. The summit will, among others, receive and consider the report of extraordinary meetings of the Council of Ministers and Organ Troika Summit, which were held virtually on the 27th of September 2027, regarding the impending deployment of SADC mission in the Democratic Republic of Congo and the approved budget thereof, quote unquote. If then the Zimbabwe situation wasn't that important, why would SADC, including the issue, why would SADC again sit on it if it's not important? ZANU-PF people are trying to talk you out of destiny. Don't buy that. Don't buy that. Follow the process. I told you, good and bad will always work for the good to those who loves the Lord. So fasten your belts. Let's pray. Very important. We all know that our country is warded ransom by a satanic demon, and we must, pray so that we can free ourselves. Now, Hope what you want to say, SADC is convening an extraordinary summit, so quote unquote, on Zimbabwe over the shambolic elections, according to NewsHawks. Sadly, nothing will come out of the summit because of South Africa's support for the shambolic election. Nothing happens in SADC without South Africa's support and intervention. Yeah, because I am a spiritual person. I believe that where man ends, God begins. I'm a firm believer that before the beginning of time, notwithstanding our education, notwithstanding our understanding, God knows what's best for Zimbabwe. And if God says there will be a free, fair, and credible election, nothing you and me or any journalist or any man can do to stop it. I'm also a firm believer that God works in mysterious ways. And he makes a way where there seems to be no way. He has done that before, and he's doing it today, and he's always going to do it. I know he's able to do exceedingly abundantly above and beyond what we can ever think or imagine. So for those who think it's not possible, no, with God, all things are possible. I believe that anything can happen. I believe we are not just doing this for, you've seen how people were committed during the time of elections. And these leaders saw, let the process take its course. Our position is to believe and keep praying and send the right energy out there. Guys, our energies that we send and the kind of words that we send are crucial, because if we remain negative, then we are going absolutely nowhere. If I believe in my life in the power of affirmation as an individual, what stops us to believe in the power of affirmation as a nation? Because there's power in our unity. Because together we can do absolutely more. We must always understand that we carry power when there is unity. I don't buy this thing of keep on speaking negative while I'm stuck. No, I believe that we deserve a better country. Other countries, they do. You see them speaking positively about their nations. If ever hear America every time, God bless America. God bless America. God bless America. They understand the power of words. The world was made with words. We can't play with words. This thing of keep on speaking negative, it has to stop. Let's begin to believe that we deserve a better country. So me and Hopo these days, we kind of line. Yeah, Hopo is always spilling vile these days. I don't know what he's drinking. Oh, by the way, the brother has got a kind of a whole pack of whiskey. So sometimes he's just have a bottle of whiskey, and here I am believing in a man just drunk. I can't. I am a firm believer that when you speak positive, things happen. There's no doubt about it. So Songezo, you know Sabet Musango, remember him, right? He says, PF leaders are urinating on us, then ask us to celebrate rain. If we don't put our heads together to find a lasting solution, we are doomed. It's as good as surrendering our future to the black colonialist. An enemy of an enemy is a friend. Let's join hands. And I've said this to some of my buddies. I asked them a question. I said, I want to be honest. Let's be honest. If ZANU-PF were white people, what were we going to do? We're going to join hands. We're not going to criticize each other. I know that Nelson Chamisa is not perfect. Trust me. He's human. So are you and am I. We all falling short. The Bible says we're falling short to see the glory of God. There's only one perfect man that came, Jesus Christ. There was never anybody who was perfect. You and me, we all have our flaws as well. So I don't buy it when we expect him to be perfect. He's human. But what we can do is we can take his little bit of strength, my little bit of strength, your little bit of strength, your little bit of strength. We hold hands and we say together we can. Instead of bashing each other, we must believe that when we are united, we can do more. This is why ZANU-PF, one of their ammunition is to make sure that they divide us. They're operating from divide and rule. They've been doing this since day one. And we must be smarter than the devil. Instead of us attacking each other, we must not focus on borrowing strength, believing in who we are, and say together we can, if we truly want to be free. Because we can't say 1 minute we want to be free, 1 minute we are bashing each other because someone has made a mistake. I can only imagine what Nelson Chamisa is going through. I can only imagine. And trust me, I'm sending light to the wife because I know when a woman is strong, the man is bold to come outside and do great things. I can tell you the truth. Behind every strong man, there's a strong woman, y'all. Don't forget. Women hold the power, y'all. We hold the power. Yes. If there ever been any woman that is strong, is that woman. Nelson Chamisa's wife. She's the most strongest woman you've never met. In your quietness. But there's so much strength in it. Let's stop the issue of criticizing each other, but believing in one another. Very important. And then one of my brother called 23 August said to Musangezi, how when we have the Sanangu for their stomachs, I said, how when we have the Shabangu for their stomachs? Then he said, let's organize ourselves. And then one person asked, he said, is there anything which can come out of from SADC Summit to this week? He said, we must always keep our hopes up and believe that we deserve a better life. And Dr. Walter Mzambi said, in as much as some of people may blame Nelson Chamisa for this, and that response or for errors of commission or omission, the undeniable reality is our politics have stooped so low. Point, I'm going to repeat that. Our politics has stooped so low, we must never forget. It's no longer competitive politics. Turning point in November 2017, it completely altered the model of contestation. The political ecosystem, even the remaining pretense on tolerance, is my way or the highway. The recalls are our lowest ever. It's nothing to do with the Citizen Coalition for Change, but political engineering induced from outside. Even fools can read through these hundreds. I completely understand Guti. Zana Washman BT all manner of nonsense. We know. But I just pray that this is kind of, because I'm like in the middle. I don't want to say much because, I don't want to say much because I can give the enemy ammunition. I can give the enemy ammunition because I've seen that people are always asking me questions, ghost accounts actually. What's the move? What is Nelson Chamisa going to do? Hey, I'm not in any position, Nelson, in the Citizen Coalition for Change. I'm simply a Zimbabwean who's supporting Nelson Chamisa. So if you think you can get some information from me, forget it. Forget it. I have no information to give you. I'm simply a girl who believes in a better Zimbabwe, a girl who believes that each and every one of us deserves some opportunity to have a better life. I'm someone who believes that every Zimbabwean has potential to be great. For that reason, I would rather, align or sideline with the underdog because I know what we're capable of. So that's the only reason. I believe in all of you, my brothers. I believe in everyone. I want to see Zimbabwe where we are all happy. I'm a person who is so much attracted to glamour. So by nature, I love clean things, that's just me. So it hurts me the most when I move around Zimbabwe, especially Harare, and see how dilapidated our buildings have been, the mess all over the place. That's not what I believe in. And I'm like, I'm not inspired in here. So for that reason, I really want to see a better Zimbabwe. It has nothing to do with that I want a political position. I'm too, and I'm sorry, respectfully, for me, being a political thing, it's not my thing. But I love to just join hands with everyone and say, let's have a better community. I don't want no political portfolio. If I happen to marry a man, get this right, who has a political portfolio, trust me, I'm going to believe and support him to fulfill purpose. So that by the end of his lifetime, God is to say, well done, you faithful servant, because you've run your race well. I'll support him and believe in him, pray for him, and also encourage him to do better, to serve the people of God well. But for me to say I'm championing to have a position, no. I create positions. I'm very creative. So I don't want to be boxed. So that's me. So for those who are looking for information, please are in the wrong place. Try my neighbor. Try other people. I'm not in any form of leadership in the Citizen Coalition for Change, but I believe in the leadership of Nelson Chamisa. I pray for him every day. I know that God is with him. I believe in his leadership. This is why there's so much resistance. Bear in mind, even if Nelson Chamisa can wake up tomorrow and have a political party called Hello, we are all going to say, where Nelson Chamisa goes, we go. He has got the anointing that you can't resist. People love him, whether you like it or not. And politics is a game of numbers. If you guys didn't grab this election, Nelson Chamisa could be the president of Zimbabwe today. But you did all your shenanigans, which we're just waiting to see what's happening after this coming Wednesday. Now, Dr. Walter said, underdogs always win in the end as long as they stay the course and persevere. Start writing the victory speech. Giants are not what they seem to be. They eventually fall. Be strong and courageous. Only be strong and courageous. The Joshua marching orders. You see, God said to Joshua, be strong and courageous. I'm thinking about, was it? Okay, that was Gideon. Gideon was hiding and God said, you, come out, you man of valor. He was hiding and thought I didn't have what it takes. God was like, I see greatness in you. The underdog, people who have a calling, people should get this. Zimbabwe need to get this very well. Understand that we have been playing debt politics for a long time. And because of debt politics, we thought we can get away with it. But this is a different era, different season. There's a tribe that I love the most in Israel. The Bible says it was called the tribe of Issachar, the smallest tribe in Israel, but yet the most successful. The Bible says they were successful because they understood the times and seasons. The problem that I keep on seeing over and over among our people is a failure to understand the times and the seasons. That life is no longer the same. If you think ask Palestine and Israel, ask Israel. Before, remember, Israel has always been literally people putting Israel on a pedestal. But what happened recently can show times have changed. So the action that's going to happen right now and what you used to know before is going to be different. But it requires you to have understanding that we're in a different season. And us as a Zimbabwean, what are we capable of? We are capable of doing mighty things because that's who we are. We have changed lives in every country that any Zimbabwean is representing. We have changed lives. So that means we have what it takes to even shape our nation in the way that we want it to be. So you and me must keep on our focus alive. Very, very crucial. And the army now fights back at Mnangagwa. The army is fighting back at ED. Don't forget that recently these elections were literally quote unquote being held or being championed or being, I'm looking for this word. I can't say, no, not officiated, but driven, if possible, or controlled by FAZ, Forever Associates Zimbabwe. That is the name of that organization. And people are alleging that it's actually the CIO. So if the people that came up with that FAZ thing and that did all the shenanigans of tables all over the place, those dirty books that they were writing are CIOs, then Zimbabweans were in trouble. Then we're in trouble. Because if the intelligence in Zimbabwe can operate like what we saw in this past election, those white tables that they were written in black, like for those that believe in all those things, I don't believe in those things. You know what I'm saying? That's what we saw. You remember? Don't forget. FAZ. If these are the kind of intelligence we are claiming we have in Zimbabwe, then you and me were in trouble, y'all. But why am I even be surprised? Do you remember the time of a post-election, no, pre-election, the time that Sevia Kasukure, kind of just, when people like, now we have our own trump card, When we were all excited about Sevia Kasukure, remember I ran his stories there. I was super excited. I have so much respect for him and his buddies. Do you remember that he booked a ticket that he was going to be in Zimbabwe? Because at that time, ZANU-PF heard that he's going to be in Zimbabwe. So, and what did they do immediately? Immediately, I don't know how on earth did they get hold of the ticket. Because first of all, I didn't know that we are actually that unsafe, that the airlines can actually divulge information, that is so crucial. And I was flabbergasted because the moment he booked the ticket, immediately the intelligence knew that he had booked the ticket to get to Zimbabwe. And then the army was all over the airport. And I remember this because one of their body went to the airport, I guess, and took a picture, and the army was all over with guns, waiting for Kasukure to arrest him. You remember the story? Now, why I'm saying this, it showed how all I'm saying is how, I'm looking for a word, about this intelligence of ours. Intelligence, because, if I look at the gold mafia as well, it really, shown us how weak our security systems are. And here I am just asking my brothers and sisters, the CIOs, and say, you saw what happened to the gold mafia. I was asking questions. How on earth were people able to actually film at the airport? It shows how weak our systems are. And I'm just saying, honestly, when I saw that Forever FAZ, when I can think about the story of Kasukure and his passenger 34 ticket that he had bought, and they started surfacing on social media all over the place, including some of the people that were part and parcel of that trip. They were also, their information on social media. I was flabbergasted. And I'm like, damn, yeah, our information is going to be all over the place. This is shocking. But I'm not surprised why there was a mess. But then NewsHawks said the army fights back at ED. So when Zimbabwean President Emmerson Mnangagwa immobilized the military from running elections, as illegally had done mainly since 2000, at the height militarization of politics in fear of bhora musango, internal sabotage, and replaced it with Forever Associates Zimbabwe, a central intelligence CIO-controlled hybrid securocratic entity that eventually ran the polls. The big question subsequently became, what will the army do? Will it retreat or fight back? Was it going to be fight or fight for the military? Mnangagwa's surprise appointment of Lieutenant General Anselini Namo Sanyatwe, his main internal political rival, Vice President retired General Constantino Chiwenga's closest military ally, is the new Zimbabwe National Army ZNA commander, partly answers the question. This has set the stage for some renewed political brinkmanship between Mnangagwa and Chiwenga. Sanyatwe, the last commander Mnangagwa would want to trust after he operationally spearheaded the betrayal and attack on the late former President Robert Mugabe during the 2017 military coup, replaced Lieutenant General David Sigauke, who retired recently. Sigauke, a controversial army commander on United States and United Kingdom targeted sanctions, replaced the late Lieutenant General Idzai Chimonyo in 2021. Before Sigauke came in, Mnangagwa and Chiwenga had fiercely fought over the proposed appointment of Lieutenant General Angel Bet Rugenge as the ZNA commander. Chiwenga wanted Rugenge, his close ally, to take charge, but Mnangagwa refused. A compromise was reached to place Sigauke in charge for 2 years, so the coming in of Sanyatwe, who is unquestionably loyal to Chiwenga and can't be swayed to the incumbent side, signals a victory for the military over Mnangagwa's politics. Now going forward, the new question is, who will blink the face, Mnangagwa or Chiwenga? Who will be blinking first, Mnangagwa or Chiwenga? At this point in time, I literally just focus my eyes on the hills when it's coming for our help. Because the way Zimbabweans are so compromised, the way people stand for nothing is shocking. Because there's always conspiracies. What does this person think about that person? What does the other person think? Oh, this one did this. Oh, that one betrayed so and so. We are, like, I'm terrified. I am terrified. If you are up there, how do you even sleep? Because, I mean, how do you even trust people around you? Because anyone can change you. I've seen guys who literally were working tirelessly, you know, campaigning for ZANU-PF, supporting it. You know, people like Vana Jim Kunaka, we have that other guy was very talkative, you know, the dark guy who went and scraped, that scarf from another person when they were having an interview with Vanacha Jamuka. You recall that dude? Where the hell is the man? Is the betrayal as that, using each other? And like nothing scary than being around people who are not, people who aren't honest. Especially when there are fights for positions, fight for relevance, fighting for, being closer to the incumbent. It's quite a very scary position. Zimbabwean politics are extremely toxic. I don't know how people even sleep and wake up because I don't trust nobody. Yeah. I don't trust nobody. I wouldn't trust nobody. Like, you can't really tell someone that you're wrong and they don't take it personal. You can't rebuke and say, hey, you know what, I love you, but I think here you're wrong. I think you need to change one or two things. Can we just stop something? You really cannot, because people are just not honest. People are not honest. People are afraid of their brothers. They're afraid of their sisters. Really very scary. It is terrifying. I don't know how people are waking up and sleeping in such a toxic environments where you can never trust anybody. You don't know what people think about you. You don't know what they would do when you move. It's a whole lot of just dishonesty, really, very much so. A whole lot of dishonest people. I'm afraid. I'm really scared. Like, I am, for real. I am very, very scared, actually. I am scared. The police, the army, that person is that one. This toxicity has to end by all means. Oh, by the way, guys, also don't forget Mr. Mohadi. You fell, remember? Mohadi fell, actually. You fell. You fell, you collapsed. They said you collapsed. Surely, where are the kids of these people? Like, I would tell my dad, I'm like, Daddy, listen, Daddy, please. Although the money that you have, go home and relax. Go to the farm. Let's come and visit you, the grandchildren. Let's just dine in. These are your last days. Because relax. Because very soon you go home to be with the father. Relax. Let's have some party out. You have for the money, man. Let's drink and, you know, chill and just have lunch and talk as family. There's something so powerful about family. But these people, I don't understand. I really do not understand. Why can't they just go home and relax, really, and just enjoy life with their children, grandchildren, and just, you know, do what they can, relax, and really be happy. So they say CCC must block ZANU-PF infiltration. The Zimbabwe Democracy Institute, an independent public policy think tank, says the main opposition, CCC, should address its own internal contradictions that have enabled ZANU-PF's machinations to undermine the party's credibility and cohesion. But I think what people are forgetting is that Citizen Coalition for Change is not a political party. It's a citizen movement. There's a difference. A citizen movement means we have conviction in our hearts. It's one thing to form part of a party and be manipulated. No. Zimbabweans are resolute. It's the conviction that the systems that we have currently don't work for us. So we can't be convinced. There's nothing that ZANU-PF will do to change what's in my heart. There's nothing. There's no amount of money that will make me accept abuse. I will tell you this. No matter how much I love a person, and I'm going to tell you, if I love you and you abuse me, there's no amount of gift you're going to buy me that will change that I'm done with you, or I'm fed up of your abuse, or I actually hate you. There's no amount of gift. There's no amount of kiss or the amount of, you know, money that will change the fact that you have abused me. So the Zimbabwean situation is far beyond the political problem. We are, in our hearts, we have conviction that the life we're living currently is not what we deserve, it's not who we are. For that reason, no matter how much ZANU-PF will do, you may give people money, but trust me, that does not change the fact that they cannot accept the system that we have currently. Even the people that are in ZANU-PF, that are literally benefiting, can attest to the fact that our systems are leading us to hell. There's no doubt about that. So we are not worried about infiltration. You can't infiltrate my heart. You can't. Maybe you can infiltrate whatever you can, but in my heart, you can't. Even in the rural area, people were not even saying anything, but they knew they're going to vote for opposition. That's why you were coercing them, abusing them, threatening them, taking their names, but people still went and vote. You know, most of them vote for the Citizen Coalition for Change because people are fed up. There is really no amount of intimidation that will change the fact that we want a better country. Because you may give me money tomorrow, I can go to the hospital, nothing is functioning. Let's assume the people that were working with you in the rural area, maybe you gave them $1,000, which I know it would never come out. Maybe you gave them like $100 or $200. I'm just saying, if you give them $1,000 and then they do one or two things, buy stuff in the house, and then they wake up tomorrow, they're sick, they go to the hospital, no medication. What's the end of them? Death. So people are smarter now. Zimbabweans are dumb. Very smart. Very smart. The infiltration, there's no infiltration. So they also say that CCC has been stung by recalls driven by self-proclaimed Secretary General Songezo Shavangu, has brewed a storm after writing letters to the Parliament and the Ministry of Local Government. CCC letter had recalling 15 members of Parliament and 17 councillors. The recalls, which have been upheld by Speaker of Parliament Jacob Mdenda, have raised a sting in the CCC, which analysts describe the move as a deliberate ploy by the ruling ZANU-PF to force through a two-thirds majority that would allow Mnangagwa to pass laws and amend the constitution at will. While CCC leader Nelson Chamisa Wednesday directed the MPs to disengage from Parliament until recalled members are reinstated, Shavangu has also threatened to roll out more recalls should they fail to report for duty. Oh, wow. Quite interesting. Shavangu is now recalling more people. He recalled the mayor, deputy mayor, Shavangu. Now, Mr. Shavangu, we do have a competition coming up. That's the by-election, I think, for Good West where someone passed away, can you please go and organize a member there? So we know that you are really strong with, you know, your narrative or your argument is very strong. Can you please just find us a candidate there in Gutu, Mr. Chavangu, since you are this where, you know, you are a man of the moment, you have all it takes. We're asking you to play a part and make sure we have a candidate there. If you really say you are the leader of Citizen Coalition for Change. They said in the new report titled The Politics of Recalls, Democratic Fragility and Opposition Vulnerability in Zimbabwe, the ZDI said the opposition should solve its internal contradictions that have enabled filtration by ZANU-PF. The opposition should strengthen its internal democracy and accountability mechanisms to prevent infiltrations and co-optations by ZANU-PF agents, reads the report. The opposition must also enhance its communication and coordination with its grassroots supporters and allies to prevent confusion and demoralization. The opposition should maintain its vigilance and resilience against ZANU-PF's attempts to intimidate and manipulate it through legal or extra-legal means. The opposition must also seek regional and international solidarity and support for its cause. The ZDI said ZANU-PF is trying to implement this securocratic state-building strategy that seeks to consolidate power by eliminating potential challenges while seeking to sow discord and distract among its leaders, members, and allies. But like I said to you before, ZANU-PF don't have a leg to stand on. ZANU-PF is at its fragility like never before. They have no power, no strength to actually be able to fight anybody. This chaos that we are dealing with right now, like I told you, it was definitely because of the backdrop of the SADC report. And I'm telling you, whether ZANU-PF try to do whatever they can do, that does not, it can never frustrate the fact that Zimbabwe had a shame of an election, an embarrassment. Never. It's going to be hard for me, Mnangagwa, to rule at the backdrop of SADC's report. Very difficult. You know, Yao, let me tell you. One thing for sure is, notwithstanding the power that people may have, manipulations, throwing tantrums there and there, say anything that they want, the fact remains. You in your heart, you know that you don't have what it takes. There's just something when you meet men and women of great minds, and here you are sitting and you really have no content at all. You know that you're unelectable. You know what I mean? You know you are unelectable. You know you are loved. You know. It's going to be hard. Let's see what happens with the SADC. This coming Wednesday, we'll be here and we'll come back again and have a conversation. We will know definitely what happens afterwards, but I don't think SADC will sweep off this. You heard what Mumba said. It will be for the benefit of Africans to make sure that there's free, fair, and credible election. I guess this is where this summit, they decided to do the summit after elections in Swaziland, and also elections in Libya. Remember, and also Liberia. Remember, elections in Liberia were definitely a success. Dr. Mumba was there. Did you hear anything negative? Why is it it's all about Zimbabwe? Dr. Mumba confirmed the Libya as elections were extraordinary. They were never blocked to literally visit almost every sector that was also working with the observer mission. But Zimbabwe, that even the European Union complained that they did not have access to ZEC, even though they had forked $5 million towards elections, they did not even want to see them. We also have SADC, which is the observer mission. Forget about those people. Even as Zimbabweans, some of our local people were never allowed to observe. Don't forget, they also arrested people that were observing the elections. So all these shenanigans definitely are contributing to the fact that everything was deliberate and intentional. The person knew that they were unelectable, and they were finding means to grab the election. So Let's see what happens. You and me, we can't wait. Please drop your location. I want to send you some shout out because I love you so much. I'm going to get into the system now to see. Please drop your locations. Let's send each other some love. And thank you guys for coming through. It really means a lot. I appreciate you so much. I appreciate you guys. You're amazing. I want to tell you, you're amazing. I've never come here to have a live and I'll be alone. You always be here with me, and it means a lot, really. I've seen people having lives and they're just alone, and you always, come through for me. I'm grateful for that. I'm deeply grateful. I'm super, 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 super grateful. Let's see. All right, so shout out to James. James, you were like literally the first person. Gigi, what's up to you? And there's Steve here. Lincoln, shout out Lucky Darlington, Skumbuzo, shout out to you, man. Meditation, sweet sounds. And in meditation, let me just tell you, now that there's someone by the name Meditation, sweet sounds, I will tell you how do I saturate my space. Or, I do meditation a lot. So we have times where we're going to meditate. We need to start doing the cleansing now because there's going to be a better Zimbabwe. So better Zimbabwe, we need to get in. Yeah, it's one thing to get into a better Zimbabwe, but we need to make sure that at least we are clean when we get into the better Zimbabwe. Yeah. So drop your location. I'm just sending some shout out here because I'm full of love, y'all. I just want to share some love. I want to share some love, y'all. So there's, Chatu Fashion, guys, I've told you, please make sure that you go to subscribe to this channel. Very important. So then we have Brother Maunganirwa. Good to you. Good to see you here. Susan, Pride, Nyasha, shout out to you. Laita, fast, because this is kind of, it's Asia to fast. Okay, so I can't read the language, but I've got a client of mine who actually have this same as surname. And we are working 83. Something that is posted is great. I felt very funny. Nicholas, shout out to you. Kings, shout out, man. Elvis, Astout, okay, I send you some shout out. Innocent, shout out to you. Calvin, shout out. Ntlanda, shout out. Good to see you. Joyce, Chiramba Njanji, good to see you, man. Tapiwanashi, good to see you. Courage, shout out to you. Admire. Jaden, shout out to you. I hope your family is doing well. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm so grateful. Thank you. And we have Joyce here. Shout out to Lynette, Caroline, Simparashe, Takunda Nashe, Mama Tiringe too. Shout out to you, man. Good to see you. Maynard, shout out. Fafi, good to see you. Muturika, good to see you. Regina, good to see you, man. Charm, Trill, good to see you. Mufumi, shout out. Butle, hi, yo. I love you so much. Yo, Lloyd, good to see you, man. Sibusiso, shout out to you. Ian, good to see you. Silence, oh my God, I'm losing some people here. Sibekezele, shout out to you, man. Mufumi, good to see you. Hilda, shout out, how is the stats? Ruth, good to see you. Petronella, shout out to you. Ian, good to see you, man. Good to see you guys, good to see you. I'm so glad to hang out with you, really. I had such a great time being here. It really has been such an honor. Just spending time with you guys, it has been an honor. I'm so grateful. I'm really grateful, guys. I can't wait to see you tomorrow. I can't wait. A lot is happening. Let's just keep the ball rolling. And I can't wait to do some meditation with you early in the morning. I'm gonna wake up. I'm gonna make sure that I'm in the bush where we meditate, together. Yeah. Sometimes we need a bit of sanity. Sanity is so important. These towns they're too busy, man. A lot is happening. So sometimes you just need that peace. So you need to go to places where it's quiet. We can only hear the birds, fresh air. No pressure. Only you and God, no pressure at all. While you're chilled. Guys, I'm so grateful that you come through. And good to see everybody. Just make sure that you like the live before you leave. Guys, there's a lot of people here. Like the live so I can push algorithm. And then I can see you definitely tomorrow morning right here. I'm going to see you tomorrow morning. I'm so excited. I love you so much and God bless you. Sleep tight for those that are sleeping if you're this side. But if you're on the other side where you're just waking up or you are starting your morning, I want to say have a great day. I love you so much. May God bless you and may God bless Zimbabwe. I love you deeply. Bless you all.